How you guys doing? My name is Aaron, and I'm here with Christine. She's just finished doing a wonderful little group of skits with Damien at Spaulding, Canada, and I'm just coming in for a follow-up little chat with her just to clear the air on any other topics and help just get everything off of the chest. For sometimes we all need a little extra support, a little shoulder to cry on, the ear to hear the burdens that we're going through. I know I could have used a few times, so I'm here for Christine right now. I'm going to let her have a few words now and get her air cleared out.
All right. I mean, I'm not even sure where to start because, things have been intense in my life. What am I supposed to say?
I don't know. I know that you've gone through a bit. I can relate to some of your CAS. I'm not sure where I really want to take you because I'll totally say, I'll take a moment here to say, I've had a few years with CAS and I know the only way I could get them off of mine was to state to them exactly what I saw and felt for myself because they don't really seem to be there for support. I will say that for sure. Mm-hmm. When I had to deal with them, they seemed like they wanted to take my kids away from me and break up my family more than help us solve the issues we were having so that we could become a stronger unit together. So I mean, with that, I had to kind of tell them straight out, like, this is exactly how you're making me feel, and give them the words and their actions that gave me that sensation. And then from there, I wouldn't hear from them again.
That's a horrible place to be in as a parent because, like I'd mentioned earlier, when you're sitting there and you're trying to make the best decision that you can, and you're using the only resources that you know, and you have these people involved with you who you've been told are there for you.
Right.
I'm here for you. I'm going to help you. I'm going to support you. And then you find out that they're not. And I mean, one of my struggles with them was those words that they were using, which was, what supports do you have? I want to help you. And so you're sitting here reaching out for help, thinking that you're going to get support, and then they just turn around and you don't get it. And you're lost and you're left in this world again, and this reminder that we're not together as a community. Like, how do we change that?
I always wonder though to them, because I will say, they didn't so much say that they were there to support me, but the way that he used the words, you have to be one to listen to really what they're saying as well as how they're saying it, because they're really manipulative in the wordplay, kind of like your teachers would try to teach you in the old days in your English class in school, to really you learn to utilize and play and understand the words when you're using them or when people are using them towards you, so that you might understand where they're coming from, not just what's being said, but the intent behind it. And that's where it kind of came to me, because nowadays I don't think people really listen to the words to understand intent. And that's something that needs to be brought back into the school system, because then you can go back and you can understand where some people tell you they're there to support you, but when they say it and the way they say it, you know that they're just there because of a paycheck.
And that's huge. That's huge everywhere, because I see that in a lot of other supports and services and things, with the types of children that I have. I've had a lot of agency involvement, meetings with schools, and it's the same thing with some of these agencies are fantastic. Some places you go to and they really do try their best to help you and get involved. The downside to those places is they cost you a lot of money. And so unless you have a lot of money coming in, you're not getting these fantastic, beautiful services. And so when you rely on government services, I find there's a huge difference there. And CAS is a government service. School boards, you have all these planning meetings and they tell you all of the ways that they're going to be there and all of the ways that they're going to help. And then when it starts, you're left with nothing and you're doing it yourself. And then you're homeschooling your kid while you're working full time. So yeah, it's a huge challenge. I just wish that our world as a whole, I mean, we need changes in our organization and we need changes in our mental health support systems, and we need changes with these people in the way that they speak to us and the way that they approach us with compassion. I mean, don't pretend to be compassionate if you're not actually going to be here, right? Tell me how it is and get out of my life, or actually be here for me.
Be there like you say. And
and I think
when I need it, right?
Exactly. And I think the community as a whole needs to do a better job at that as well, right? Because, it leads back to one of those things I think we were talking about earlier with this resentment and appreciation of resiliency and strength, right? And you have the world around you watching you do your best to pick yourself up and watching you navigate these terrible services who pretend to be there for you. And, it's just, if you guys could stop standing and just come, just be here, just be with me. Like, let's be together as a community and support each other and understand that there's so many areas that are lacking that we could make up together.
So instead of so really what we're looking for is a community where instead of saying I'm there to help you, I'm there to support you, I'm there when you need me, is to keep the mouth quiet. I don't want to make it sound rude, but to keep the mouth quiet and actually get up and come give that hand, pick
And
them
just
up when
be
they're
there.
down, see they're falling and help pick them up. Don't say, I'll be there when you need me and then disappear, but show up when they're down and help get them back up, right?
Yeah.
That's what we need.
And one of the things that I relate it to is the drowning, right? So you're sitting there and you're drowning and you're drowning and you're reaching, and the person is standing on the sand and they're watching you drown. But because of how many times you've pulled yourself out of that water, they don't reach their hand in because they just assume and think that you have it. And it's like some of the people who present themselves as having it all together, as always being able to fix it, as, being the number one in their children's lives, we are actually the weakest people on the inside. We have this survival mechanism. We are out there. Don't wait for us to ask, because we're not going to. We don't want to burden you with, hey, can you help me? We need you to come to us and say, you know what, I see that you're struggling and I'm here with you. And it could be as simple as that. Let us sit in this darkness together, because I know you can pull yourself out. But I'm going to sit here with you until you're ready to do that, because we're so alone. We're so alone.
It can be a lonely, crazy world that anybody has to go through the things that you've gone through. I mean, we all have our own stories to share, and that you shared yours is quite phenomenal, because most people going through even half of that would tend to keep themselves rather closed off and try to work out things on their own. And it's hard. It can be done, but it's hard. I mean, it's always easier when you get a little help from those around you. So that you've had the courage to get that first step done, it's huge. Hopefully anyone seeing this can find some encouragement, some support from this, and pull themselves through their own issues.
And that's one of the reasons that I'm here, is because it's very, very easy to get caught up in this behind closed doors. I need to make sure that I have it together. I have to solve this problem alone. I mean, I have created my own demise in a lot of the things that I've gone through, in the sense that I am afraid to reach out. So I tuck myself away, I build my bricks, I get my plan together, and I put it out. And as soon as I step out my front door, that's the only thing people are seeing. They're not seeing my struggle, they're not seeing my efforts, they're not seeing my hard work. And I wish that they would come in, but I also need to do a better job at reaching out. And that's one of the reasons that I came here, is because I need to do a better job at saying, I don't have to handle this today. And I need you, somebody, anybody, I need you just to be here with me and be able to be vulnerable and understand that it's okay, because it is okay to be vulnerable. And in today's day, where, everybody's being so careful about how they behave and how they talk and where we go and what we do, and trying to, raise all of this awareness. And I'm sitting here like I'm struggling and I'm afraid, when the world in some areas is literally saying, hey, you can tell me. Like, I need to get better at that. For sure.
I think the whole world has a bit to catch up, because on that topic that you just said, everyone's always tiptoeing around everything and trying not to offend and everything else. The world, in my perspective, has kind of gotten in that aspect a little bit soft and detached from reality. Because life isn't always easy, happy, cheery. Life was about kind of getting through the hardships and learning how to pick yourself up and helping those around you pick up again and continue on through the struggle, the obstacles, the difficulties, not beaten down and walking past those that are having a hard time. So
yeah, exactly.
You can make that kind of relation. Hopefully a few more audience members out there can see that, it's not always just you. It takes a group effort for anyone to get through all of the nonsense in this world today. So hopefully we all get a few things together, find those that are really out there to help you, and give a hand to them too and need it, because we're all going to drown on our own.
Yeah, that's true.
In my opinion, at least.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, thanks for having a little chat. We won't keep our viewers too long, because status quo nowadays is short attention span.
Yes.
I'm probably going to lose mine soon. So,
that's okay.
On a good note and a quick last, thanks you for coming in, and thanks for sitting down with us on this little chat, and we'll see you again on the next little interview.
All right. Thank you.